Boom. We're here. We're here. Let me just say I look like dog shit. I know. I look like shit. I went back into quarantine. I'm back in, well, now I'm done now. But last week, after last week's monologue, I had a guest come in and I slowly started to slump over, and I couldn't think, and I'm asking terrible questions, and I'm just slumping over as the podcast goes, and I just couldn't concentrate. My brain wasn't firing. And the podcast ended, and I had to just sit there, and I almost passed out. And I was like, "Fuck! I think I got Rona." I had body aches. I've had body aches the past 2 weeks, and didn't have a cough, but lost my taste a week ago. So body aches, exhaustion, lost my taste for a period of time. Just didn't feel good, and was like, okay, these may be the warning signs that this is coming on. So I packed up my stuff, came back to the desert, and quarantined. Got tested Tuesday, got my results back Saturday, and I am negative. I think I just ran myself too hard. I was talking to Benny, and he pointed out that I do this every year. Last year, I got hand, foot, and mouth. I went out and passed out clothes to the homeless and prayed for the homeless. And I know I'm such a good person. I can feel. You feel that virtue over my head? Yeah, and I prayed for the homeless, and then, but I touched people when I put my hands on people, and prayed for people, and got hand, foot, and mouth. What hand, foot, and mouth is, it's a virus like a herpes strain, and you get essentially herpes blisters all over your hands, all over your feet, and in your throat. And so so here's how what it started to come on as. I thought I had tonsillitis. So I did this on a Tuesday or Wednesday, no, on a Thursday, and by Sunday, I started to get little bumps on me, and I thought on my feet, and I was outside, and I was outside in the grass with my son, and I thought that I just got some ant bites, and I was like, oh dang, these suck. And I was checking my son's feet. I was like, dang, hope he didn't get ant bites. And then my throat started to hurt, and I thought I had tonsillitis, and I just couldn't swallow anything, and I was drinking throat coat tea, trying to treat it, and just felt terrible. My throat felt terrible. So I went to urgent care, and as the day progressed, I got more and more bumps on me, and they just kept popping up. It was so crazy to see them boop, 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 boop. Look down. For 2 minutes later, there was another one, and I went to urgent care, and they thought it was a dermatitis. Because adults don't get hand, foot, and mouth. Children do, and homeless people do. So they thought it was a dermatitis, and then it just started to blow up, and they would pop and they would ooze, and my feet were so bad. When I tell you, at the end of it, I was ripping off pieces of skin like this big. It was so gross, and but my body was just like, sit the fuck down for 10 days. It was like, do not go anywhere. And I tried to keep podcasting. I tried to keep going. And the guys were like, get the fuck away from us. Go home. And I couldn't I was trying to put shoes on and walk around. And fuck, man. It was bad. It was not tight. It was not cool. And anyway, that was last year's. And this year, I just, during the height of the BLM movement, and that whole time, it was very high emotional stress time for me. I was definitely trying to navigate it and figure it out. I was trying to figure it out, which is, it's not a math problem. And like I said on this podcast a number of times before, it's such a layered and nuanced issue such a layered and nuanced issue. It's just so many layers to and so many components that play a part in it, and that's going to go into another point. But I was recording 5 podcasts a week some weeks, and really focusing on putting out content, traveling back and forth to and from the desert, because all of the media stuff that I do and all of the fast-paced business stuff that I do is in San Diego. So I was bouncing back and forth, and the kids were, raising kids and just running and gunning. That's what my mom would say, running and gunning, hooping and hollering, running and gunning. She didn't say hooping and hollering, but those are things. That's black moms say things like that. So yeah, I was running and gunning, and my body just said, "Hey, fool, sit the fuck down." And that's the kind of God I have. Look at God. That's funny. It's another thing black churches say. When you find a parking spot, look at God. Did God find you that parking spot? That is not my bit. That is Deion Cole, but it's very funny. So yeah, so my body sat me the fuck down. So I decided to take a week to stay. I took last week, stayed in the desert, and this week I'm going to stay in the desert and cool it. We got some newer projects going on with the YouTube channel. BigMood TV YouTube channel, if you're watching this, is getting upgraded, changing the graphics. We're going to be shooting some more specific graphics for it, and just making it more streamlined. So that's the look. But we created the HOE YouTube channel. So all of these podcasts will get uploaded to that YouTube channel. And it will also be featured in the uploads on the BigMood TV channel. So pay attention to that. You can just look up Hearts Over Everything, and it'll take you to our YouTube channel. We're not going to transfer all the podcasts, but from now on, there will be podcasts in the HOE channel on YouTube. Also, we have a project with Benny coming out. He's recording his first podcast tomorrow. We're doing a kind of a creative corner where he's going to interview musicians, DJs, artists, all people in music scene in San Diego, and just get in touch with the local talent in San Diego, and just talk about music, because that's what Benny's fired up about. That's what Benny's a musician through and through. That's what he does. And really, we're breaking up the Squadcast, HOE show, whatever we were fucking calling it, we're breaking that up and taking the emphasis off of that, because it became a fuck Donald Trump show, and fuck him. I could say it one time and mean it all the time. It just became like a current event show, and it's just stressful. So Jesse and I, so when we get back, we're focusing on Benny's show. He'll have his own YouTube channel. He'll also be featured on the uploads on the BigMood TV channel. That's another featured project under the BigMood TV. So we have Hearts Over Everything. We have, I think it's called Barrio Corner, for Barrio Logan. So we'll have Barrio Corner. We have a project with some people in the health and wellness space, recording a 6-week series, Intro to Naturopathic Medicine with Dr. Carly. Blah, blah, blah. She's a superstar. So we've gone on, done 2 podcasts. Now she's going to get her own little series. That kind of worked out perfect. So we have a series with her. Then we'll be shooting some YouTube videos, yoga videos. So we'll have some more health and wellness stuff on the channel, as well as some more creative corner stuff that'll just be uploaded to BigMood TV. Got some poetry stuff and just just some more creative stuff going down on the channel, man. So we're doing stuff, and we broke up one podcast project and started 4 more. So BigMood TV, we're growing, and we want stories represented. We want experiences represented. We want factions of mental health and emotional health, and just health and wellness being represented, because those are our core foundations. Those are our core principles. And I think I've made that known with continuity on this podcast, that mental health is a priority for me. Recovery is a priority for me. Current events and social justice and race relations in particular in regards to social justice are priorities for this brand. I hate to even say brand because that's lame, but the Big Mood thing is a brand. So we're going to have the Big Mood TV website going up. That'll feature clips from all of the episodes. There'll be a blog area where we'll write about. We'll have a written blog. Maybe Benny will run the written blog. And just talk about life and talk about current events. That would actually be really tight. I'm gonna see if he wants to do that. He'll probably run the written blog. Then there'll be, like I said, clips from every episode, every show we put on, every project we have. There'll be clips on there. And what else? We're just being creative, man. Oh, but my original point was, when I come back, I'm focused on other people's projects, not so focused on mine, because when I focus on me, God tells me to sit the fuck down. That's just what I'm reminded. When I'm focused on what Eric wants to do, God will give me a timeout. That's it. So I'm staying here and focusing on my family, getting work done. Also, I'm going into a co-working space when I get back into San Diego. I'm gonna stop working in my home. I'm gonna leave my home is my home. A working space needs to be a working space. So I'll have meetings there and strategy meetings, projects, and things that'll happen at the co-working space, as opposed to doing it at home via Zoom. Just want to create a work environment, and I don't, I get so frustrated being in my house that my house becomes the place where I have insomnia, so I'm not sleeping, the place where I do sleep, the place where I meditate, the place where I work, the place where my children hang out, it's like, wow, this place is too many this is too many things. This is not supposed to be this many things. This is supposed to be where I sleep and where I keep my clothes. Meditate. This is home base. This is grounding, not something that's going to bring more stimulus. You don't bring all that stimulus into the house. And for me, I already work from home. So it's not like I was in an office a little bit before. No, I've been working in and from home for 3 years. I just need to remove that. Oh, excuse me. And start setting up hours where it's like, okay, from if it's going to be in the afternoon from 2 to 5, I'm going to be in the co-working space, Monday and Tuesday. That's where you'll find me. And we'll have strategy meetings and things like that. We'll be in the co-working space, and me and Benny are going to set weekly meetings, whatever. The logistics don't matter. But yeah, just trying to dial it in. When God tells you to sit down, you re-strategize, reorganize, reassess, realign, just re-strategize, figure out the way. If that approach was not working, how do you make a work-life balance? But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put my foot on the gas again and run for another 6 months until about November. Then I get depressed, and then I'll be bummed out for 6 months. So sick. Fuck yeah. Seasonal depression. Can always count on that to get you grounded and ruin your life. Well, I just got to get more and more prepared for that as my life goes. That's just the way it's been. I'll take 7 years sober in December. 7 fucking years. By the time I'm 33, I will have been sober. Well, already I've been sober many more years, but then I have been, obviously I was sober until I was 12. So had my whole childhood, 1 through 12. And then I had 10 years, 12 or 13 to 23. And then 23 to 30 as 7 years. So I've been sober 19 years. But what I mean by by when I'm 33, I will have been sober as an adult as long as I used. And you know what? At 7 years, the things that there's no more fucking excuse about drug addiction when things go bad. It's not my, you know what I mean? You don't get to fucking, you don't get to blame drugs for your problems at 7 years sober, not even at 5 years sober. So all the mess that I've made in the last 7 years, that shit was Eric. Eric's the problem. Drugs and alcohol are not the problem. Eric's the problem. That's why I work so hard on myself. Ooh, I had a dream. Okay, you want to hear a fucking crazy ass dream? So last week, so for me, I chase after being sober. I run and I reach for it. That's why I think I've been sober this long. And even when I was down and out, all my cards were, I ran out of all my cards even sober. I hit a bottom sober. Even when I was there, I still didn't shoot dope or drink or anything because all my chip, I know I can't drink and use, and I am scared of it because my shit was so horrific, as I say all the time, little violin, as it was so bad before. So I chase recovery. I chase it, and I'm passionate about it. I'm more passionate about it today than I was when I got here. When I got here, I took my sobriety for granted because I stayed sober easily. It wasn't difficult to stay sober when I started this. So what was my point? Oh, so the dream I had a dream that I was with Balls and a few other people. They go by their last name. Balls did the podcast, so I can say him. And a few other people, one of my friends' dads, who was protesting with us during this time. He was protesting. Then he killed himself. I don't know why. And when he killed himself, he had like Altoids boxes. And in the Altoids boxes, he had Subutex, Suboxone, some Oxy, and things like that. And I was sitting on like a bench with my friend, and he was like, opened it up. I was like, you want to take 2 Subutex? And I popped them without even thinking about it. Without it, and knowing that I'm in this dream, knowing I'm supposed to be sober, just pop these Subutex. And the thing is, when you take Suboxone or Subutex or opiates, when you use, it makes you nauseous. Like if you just didn't eat that day, or didn't eat the right thing, or drank the wrong thing, or if you drank for me it was tequila. If I did opiates and drank tequila, I'm gonna puke. That's just, they go together for me. So in this time, I ate these Suboxone as a sober person, 6.5 years, and was like, first of all, fuck, look how quickly I just ate these fucking pills. That's how close fucking drug addiction is that you don't even have to fucking think about it before you eat that pill. It just happens. So that's check mark one. That's why I chase AA, because you could have all the intentions of staying sober, but in that second, if you're not prepared, boom, you just ate it, So then I ate it, and then I'm thinking, fuck, how do I lie about this? That was my first, because if I drink and use, I'm not going to come back. I'm not going to I'm not going to. I'm going to go until I die. That's another thing. Check mark 2. That's why I don't use, because I know I'm not going to come back. I know I'm not. I did it once, did it for 6.5 years once. And then if I use again, like I said, all my cards were down. I've used all my cards. So if I start again, ride that bitch till the end. So I was like, fuck, how am I going to lie about this? And then number 3, I was like, fuck, I haven't done any painkillers in 6 years. I need to lie about this, but I'm about to be so fucked up that everyone's going to tell that I'm fucked up, especially Subutex. Subutex fucks you up. So I was like, fuck, I need to lie about it, but I can't lie about it because I'm going to be so wrecked. Man, it was a fucked up dream. And I woke up in the middle of the night. And when you wake up and the dream is still going and you're awake and you feel the feelings of the dream. So I felt so bad. I was like, fuck, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I held my son's hand. He sleeps in the bed with us in half the night. And I held his hand and I was like, fuck. Oh, make me feel better. I needed his comfort at that moment. Hold on. And I ended up falling back asleep. I woke up, told my girl, and you know what that makes me do? Chase recovery. Check. That's why I do it the way I do it. That's why I talk about it. I told my boy who's moving out here, I said, this is not everything I do. Recovery is not it's not like I go to meetings all day, every day. But on this podcast, I talk about it. In my coaching, I talk about it. In my relationship, the principles are within my relationship. My friends are all sober people. Like, this is what I do. It's my life. It's in every aspect of my life. It has permeated every aspect. You know, there's quotes from Recovery Life that govern my life. And yes, I say govern. And then the emphasis and the onus on a spiritual life is just part of, it's who I am. It's part of the branding of my business, is just to grow spiritually. I talk about here when I'm not meditating, and you know, I just very vocal about all of it. So I told my boy, I was like, if you're gonna move here, it doesn't have to be everything you do, but it has to be in everything you do, you know. And that's why I chase this shit. Chase it. It wasn't like that when I first got sober. It was not. I just coasted. Because I wanted to be sober so bad, it was off self-will alone. For 3.5 years, I just rode that bitch till the wheels fell off on self-will. Because, you know, because I didn't know. That's all I was, actually, I knew that's all I was prepared to do. You know, so sometimes I feel bad about it, but you only are prepared for, you're only able to do what you're ready for. And that's why with, like, as a coach, it's like, oh, you're not following these directions. You're just not ready to do this. I'm not going to convince you. You know, I've told people that before. I was like, okay, if you want me to help you do this thing, either you want me to do it or you don't. If you don't want me to do it, I'm not going to waste my time, because it's not going to work. It doesn't work unless you want to do it. So, yeah, that's a hard pill to swallow, you know, because people on your lower self believes, like, yeah, I want to change my life. Like, yeah, I want to move. People say, like, oh, I wish I could move to California. That's your lower self saying, like, you want to move to California. But does your higher self, does your higher consciousness want to move? Because if your higher consciousness wants to move to California, you're going to drive across the country and live in your fucking car. And you're going to say, I want to live in California. You know, like, if you want to get sober, your lower self says, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. But when your higher self says you want to get sober, you're willing to go to any length. You're willing to crawl and run after it. When you want to lose weight and get in shape, myself included, I'm talking to myself, Eric, when you actually want to get in shape, you're going to actually do the things that you're supposed to do. Right now, my lower self and my medium self wants to do it, but I'm making some changes. Eric's in the Thick Boy Bike Club. We're riding 4 or 5 days a week, son. I ride a road bike. I don't ride a mountain bike. And I only ride 30 minutes a day. Well, I think I'm start doing 2 a days, because with a bike you can do 2 a day. So doing cardio, that's why I wish when I was trying to compete, I got a bike and did cardio morning and night that way. That would have been, well, I can still treat myself like I'm competing. But I wish that I thought of that then, because biking is fun. Biking is fun. You can, like, you're looking around you, you're looking at the world, you're like CJ from the block. What's up, C? That's what they called me when I was a kid. I'd be on a fucking bike pedaling around. But yeah, Thick Boy Bike Club. Shout out to Brenda's job. I need to make a video of me on the bike on the Thick Boy Bike Club. Because, yeah, your boy's 260 right now with titties. Just kidding. I don't got titties. I still have pecs, but titties are coming. Titties are about a year away. I'm a year away from titties. Still got pecs, but titties are like, yeah, what's good, dog? We see you, fam. We coming. You know, if you're a guy with titties, be free, son. I support you. For me, titties aren't in my cards. Titties are not on the, it can't happen. Can't let myself get there. Last year when I went to Mexico, my brother looked at my stomach, was like, What's going on, bro? What's going on? But I have a workout schedule for this week. I'm gonna bike 4 days, 4 days of cardio, and then 2 days of lifting. And I'm going to lift with a guy who lifts. I haven't lifted with a guy who lifts. I've been the guy who lifts when we lift with somebody. When I lift with somebody else, but I'm gonna lift with a guy who has not stopped in 20 years, and I'm going to do an hour and a half workout with him. And we got 2 fun days. I think it's shoulders and back, and then arms, which is just, he said, we're just going to basically be jerking each other off in the gym for an hour and a half each day. But it's fun to start on those. It's fun to start on those fun days. It's fun to start on those days to get the momentum up. And I think I might meet him Sunday and do quads and just get a quad day going. I think I'm just going to do it. And join. My girl's okay with it. Actually, Sunday I got to go. But when I want to train legs, I always say I'm going to train legs Monday, because it's like you just got to swipe the card in order to work out. It's like you don't get to work out. You don't get to do one bench press until you do legs. Swipe. So that's what I'm going to do on Monday. Walking lunge my life away. It's my favorite part of leg day, is walking lunges. It wasn't always. It was so whack before. But just walking lunge 6 times back and forth. It's great. Then deadlift. It's a fun leg day. That's a fun leg day. If you want to do leg extensions until the cows come home, I'm just not interested in sitting there, and I'm just not interested. I'm just walking lunges. I'm moving. Deadlifts, you feel like a fucking animal. And they'll grow the way they grow. Everything. That's how I train. Everything will grow the way it grows. I'm not super like, take it easy. Like, I'm not a bodybuilder anymore. I used to be super into it. But now I just want to be healthy and want to be in shape and don't want to be a fat fuck. I don't want those titties that are a year away. It's like, titties I see you in the distance. I don't want those titties. No, I don't want those titties. What else? You know what? I haven't talked about the race thing in a while. But the more I have conversations with white people who don't fully understand the race thing, the more radicalized I get. And this will be played on a documentary when it talks about the radicalization of Eric. No, but the more I talk to white people who just don't get it, the more frustrated I get. And it's like, you know what, dude? It's in your heart. This issue is in your heart. This is not an idea for you. Because if this is an idea, it's me telling you, hey, this is an experience that's happening. You don't fully have to understand it, but trust me and don't deny my experience. That's an idea. But trying to explain the history, and they'll say, well, that's an inaccurate history. That's the history that they want you to. You know. Okay. And it's like, man, super discouraging. And it makes me not feel safe around certain people, which, not safe under physical assault, but safe as that my existence is valid. That kind of safety doesn't feel like that. And that doesn't feel good, man. And you know what? Here's the difference. When I talk about race to people who seem to not understand it, I'm using empathy to try to make them understand. I'm trying to meet them at their level. Here's what I say. There are issues in the Black community. Anybody who just discredits the issues in the Black community is doing us all a disservice as Black people. There are issues in the Black community, but it's important to understand how we got there. It's important to understand how we're portrayed. We're disproportionately represented in media as criminals and hostile people. It's important to understand the nuanced and layered components that go into the black issue, black poverty. And there's plenty of documentaries on it. There's plenty of information on this. It's not secret. But I try to level because I'm using my heart says empathize with this person. And as a spiritual person, I levitate on hoes. I should be above. My job is to be above you. That's just not above you as I'm better than you, but above you in thinking. My consciousness is higher. So I can see you as a Christian and not be a Christian, still fully respect your faith, actually participate in your faith. I can fully participate, not fully, but I can participate as to a far extent and not believe the same faith as you and like really respect and have a spiritual experience within your faith practice. I can listen to your political views and say, I disagree, but I can level with people because I'm a conscious higher, I am a higher being in the sense that as a spiritual thinker, I consider myself a spiritual thinker. That sounds so stupid. Take that back. But I just shot that phrase down. As a spiritual thinker, as someone who tries to be a conscious human being, I can level with someone and say, you're a Christian. I can participate in your faith practice, in your spiritual experience, get my own spiritual experience from it, grab and gather spiritual insight, and then move on, and then go to a Buddhist temple and do the same, or listen to Minister Farrakhan and do the same. I can do that. A lot of people can do that. But then this is where it goes back to your heart. I'm trying to convince you of our oppression. Why the fuck am I trying to convince you of the whips on our back? What the fuck? And that makes me say, fuck you. That makes me say, fuck you, man. Because it's in your heart, and that's the evil in your heart. It's an evil. Because I can disagree. I don't know about transgender rights. I don't know. But do I want to understand that you're a human and you should fully experience your experience? And for me, with my experience, I don't bully my experience onto people. People go out of their way to tell me that because I believe things and I don't bully people with it. I don't try to jam people in a box, even as a coach. There's certain foundational principles of nutrition, diet, and exercise that I still don't try to jam people into because it's not about, you can't be super married to principles. You have to be married to the people, and people are fluid, and I understand that. People are fluid, so you work with people, fuck, man. It's a bummer. It's a real fucking bummer. And you know what? I think I'm done. You're part of the problem, and you know what? Because I have nurtured a higher part of myself, I'll still love on you because that's what I do. But that's not love for master, because I would love to slap the shit out of a racist. I have punched a lot of racist people in the face. There's people, when I cut this clip, there's people who are going to see this clip on Instagram who got punched in the face for being racist. I have no problem punching a racist in the face. So it's not love for master. And I vote, I participate, I speak loudly against it. It's not a love for master, but it's a love for humans to say that I want to live with peace. And if I'm going to live with peace, I need to project love to live with peace. I'm not going to put hate in my heart for the love of the game, for pride. Yeah. This shit is a super bummer because it's a super bummer. It's a bummer. But you know what? That's that James Baldwin quote. If we're going to answer the race problem in America, you got to understand, why was it even a thing to need to own people? Why was that even? I understand that was not my ancestors, but why did your ancestors feel the need to do that? Sickness, animalistic. But do I think all white people are like that? I know my girl's not like that. My girl, she does the best she can. And you know what she does? She's not like white girl who's like all loud and outspoken about it because she knows she doesn't get it. I think she's the humble white person that says, I don't get it, but I support you in doing everything you have to do for the rights of our children. That's supportive to me. And she'll listen to me. She listens to me, and she'll let me vent and go off and not try to argue with me. She just let me go off. And people in her family are some of the people who disagree with me fundamentally, and she'll let me go off. Shout out to her for doing that, because she understands that a lot of their thinking is wrong. She understands, she understands. So anyway, what else? Yo, this fucking child trafficking shit is wild. It's wild. Fuck, that shit is so crazy. That shit is so crazy. Man, they're saying Mother Teresa was a child trafficker for the Vatican. That makes sense to me. That doesn't seem far-fetched because, the most prolific institution of child molesters and rapists in the world, in the history of anything I ever know of, is the Catholic Church. Thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people coming forth of molestation allegations. That shit is fucking crazy. I believe it. It's scary though. I've been watching a lot of videos on it. Man, this shit is crazy. It makes you scared. It makes you scared for your children. I was just listening to another podcast where it said, if you're anti-gun and you haven't thought about getting a gun recently, you're good for you. Good for you. You're crushing it. If you haven't thought about getting a gun, you have so much faith. He also said, so you think all the Black Lives Matter people are going to represent you? You really think that? You think the police are always going to represent you? You think the government's always going to you think Donald Trump cares about you? That's what you should say to Donald Trump supporters. Do you really think Donald Trump cares about you? And they say, yeah. Word. Good for you, dog. Do you really think the police care about you? Word. Sick. And that's a testament to the black and brown experience as well, because I don't think any of us think that the government, that they give a fuck about us at all. But I'm usually not anti-gun, but I just don't like guns. I'd rather protect my family than hurt myself, And really, right now, I've never thought so much about getting a gun. Hold on, let me write something down. I never thought so much about getting a gun. Yeah, but it's scary, man. It's scary. All this child trafficking shit. Man, the world is fucked. Still the best time to be alive. For me. Like, I don't know. The only other time that seems alluring is the 50s and 60s, but that's when all of our great leaders were killed? Oh, sick. You were investigated and infiltrated and executed by the FBI? Sick. Not a great time. So when people talk about how bad this time is, the privilege to even say that, because this is still the best time to be black ever in the history of the black American experience. It's the best time to be alive. So, still with everything going on, and that's kind of sad if you think about it. Tie that bitch together. That's kind of sad. Do you think this fucking chaotic ass time, this is the best time to be a black person during, Donald Trump presidency? Because I don't think white people say make America great again. 1950s, such a beautiful time. Before black people started wanting all of their rights. You can still say the N-word. could still say the N-word. You can still keep black people out of your schools. We had a pure white race. Crazy blackies didn't ask too many questions. The good old days. That's what I hear when I hear Making America Great Again. But this motherfucker's gonna be out. 49% of white people in this poll support Donald Trump. 42% or some 42% support Joe Biden. People choosing whiteness over everything, dog. White people are so funny. Yo, y'all are weird. Check your heart. That's the point. Check your heart. It's not a battle of ideas. It's not a battle of ideas. And that's why the race problem will never go away. It's not a battle of, it's not thinking. It's in here. It's in your heart. But yeah, I think the numbers are crazy. I can't pull them up. I don't have my phone. The numbers are crazy though, and Joe Biden's in the lead. Get this motherfucker the fuck out of here. You're out, you fucking loser. The most disgraced, I hope he goes down as the most disgraced president of all time. Do you know why? Not because he did a lot of damage in the political system, because I think we can rewrite the stuff that he did. I really think so. And not over 8 years we can rewrite that shit. I think it'll happen. But the reason he's the worst president, I think, of all time, at least in contemporary, because it was slave owner presidents, right? But the worst president in a very long time, because just the simple division, just the speaking of hate, that's bad leadership. That's like bad leadership 101. A good leader makes people feel like a team. A good leader, even if the country's separated 50-50, at least the 50 can feel like a team, or at least there feels like there's some set of negotiation. But no, this motherfucker makes people hate each other. The opposite of a leader. It's like you should never be in a leadership position ever. You should never. And you know what? The white people who still support him, you're an asshole. And I'm not going to explain it to you because you're part of the problem. So move out of the way. Move. I did my last explanation. This weekend. That's it. No more. The answer is check your heart. This is in your heart. This isn't in your mind. This isn't an idea. This is in your core. Can't change your heart, man. Can't change your heart. You can change your heart one day if you feel like you actually want to live like a, if you want to live a different life, you can change your heart, but I can't change your heart with ideas. I can't change your heart with ideas. Look at this idea. Look at these principles. Look at these historical facts. Look at this. Here, I'm going to present this to you. Can't make it past your head. Change your heart. But I'm going to wrap it up. Look how easy these podcasts are so easy to do at home. In the studio, sometimes you feel pressure, but also sometimes you feel like you're ready to go to work. So it's a little easier. The camera angle here, I don't like so much. And I'm not shaved, which I don't like to look like that either, but you got to do what you got to do. Show must go on, right? That sounds so lame. But yeah, so we're going to wrap it up. You've probably have seen my website this whole time, but bigmoodcoach.com, Instagram, Eric_bigmoodcoach, YouTube channel, Hearts Over Everything, podcast on YouTube, and then the general umbrella BigMood TV. You'll find all new uploads from all different content creators and all different projects all on one channel. So we're out of here. Peace.
Vultures circling above, they're all in a piece, but they don't even know my name. Won't get even the swipe for the train. Cloudy, ride to the airport, gotta get right for the plane. Custom, smell like kush. Wifey hand in a dish, yes, and I got no shame. Never, so rely on the shine.